Well, welcome to Santa Claus is coming to town. That's what Hunkydory is telling us, and they're right. In fact, this is a really special thing. They're calling it a crafty stash pad, but it's got 240 elements. It's got everything all together. Before I get into the projects, I just want to give you a taste. So we've got foil die cuts that you can make three-dimensional. We've got patterned. We have all kinds of things. So please, won't you come play with us? Well, I'm just going to show you the types of things that are in this pad. In fact, it's about a ½ an inch thick, so there's a lot. There are 42 sheets in it, and here are the foil die cuts. So you're going to get 2 of each one. You can see that foiling is great. And there's greetings, there's borders, all of that. So that's the 4. Oh, maybe there's 5. I stand corrected. Oh, there's 6. Okay. Then we have some lightly patterned paper. And again, you're going to get 2 of each. So we've got a ho, ho, ho. We've got snowflakes. We have stars. And then we have inserts. Now, what you do is you're going to trim this into quarters, and you're going to have 4 of them, and you get 2 of each. So again, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so with these 3 and 4, you've got 12. You've got 24 inserts. Now these are cutouts, so you can see that you've got greetings, you've got images, all kinds of stuff on here, and you're going to get 2 each of those. Now this is on double-sided paper. So there's the ho, ho, ho. Here is the holly with that bright stripe that I just showed you. You're going to get 3 of those. Here we have stars and snowflakes, 3 of those. Christmas lights, and on the back of that is snow. Now this is a cutout sheet, and it is to make a layered 3-dimensional piece. Heidi did one of those, and I'll show that to you. You get 3 of those sheets. This is another one. 1, 2, 3 of those. So you get pattern cardstock, you get the paper towel, the layered, although you do have to cut them out. You do get the inserts, and you get the double-sided paper, and you get all of those foil die cuts. Very, very neat. Okay, Santa Claus is coming to town. Well, let me just show you what Heidi has done. And here is her first card. Now, she did take our normal 5 by 6.5 inch cards. She trimmed it down to be 5 by 6 inches, and she used the gold brushed diamond paper, and that is what she put first down on her card. And then she used the stripe, and let me show that to you, although you did just see it. And she's got the stripes going that way, so that's fine. She did mat the top and bottom on this piece on white, and then just simply taped it in place. Now, that little snow globe is very neat, and fortunately it is foiled and die cut out. So you're going to pop this out. I'll pop out the center because that isn't going to be used on this card. And then you see these tabs, they're going to go behind, and then they're going to go on top of this Santa. And because the flaps are kind of going to spring a little bit, it's going to make it look 3-dimensional, which I'll show you in a second. The Let It Snow is a separate piece, and you can put it right here, or you can use it elsewhere. And this is what it looks like on that card. So you can see that it's even without the benefit of foam tape. Now these two, this is foam taped on, but this is kind of springy. So that's nice. And then this is the sheet, the cutout sheet. So you see lots of pieces there. So we've got the Santa in the sunglasses, you know. He is matted on white and glued at an angle. The Have a Holly Jolly Christmas, that is just glued right there. The Love Santa is foam taped. The Love Santa is right here. And then she did make a bow, and she did use the Hunkydory bow maker because Heidi always does, and she zodded it right on top of our snow globe Santa and added some of the red jewel dazzles. Now these I think are used on every single project, so I'm going to leave these sitting out. So that's what she did on the front of her card. Now on the inside, She's got more of that stripe paper, so she just let that cover the inside. 3 more of the Santas, all matted on white, foam taped from the North Pole, and foam tape sending some festive joy. Another bow was zotted, and more of the red jewel dazzles were placed. So that takes care of our first card. A really nice use of mixing the foiled and the cutouts together, don't you think? Now, here's our second card. And this is the one that's going to use the cutouts that are like paper towel. They're layered. And let me show you this. In fact, let me just start at the bottom. In this case, she used gold glitter and kind of did the same thing. She did a piece of the Christmas lights and trimmed that to be smaller than her card. The measurements are down in the instructions. And then matted onto the gold glimmer and attached that to the front of her card. So that worked very easily. But then she added another strip, and the strip is with this. This is on the back side of one of the cutout sheets. So that, you know, just works really nicely because you have several of them. And place that there. Now you don't have to do that, but you know, it's there if you like it. And here is the one that she did. Now I do want to tell you that they are numbered. So if you want to play it safe, you might want to cut it out and then don't go ahead and cut out the others, but cut that out. And you want to glue the first layer to your card. So that's what works best. Now, Heidi has used all of these, every single one. You can do all of them and foam tape them. You just foam tape them over the matching art. So obviously this piece as number 2 is going to go down on top of him. Then this as number 2B is going to go on top of his feet. So it just keeps going that way. Now, as I said, you don't have to use them all. In fact, if you've seen our webisodes, you know that we don't always use all of them. So it's your choice. And you want to just foam tape them there. Wishing you a Merry Little Christmas. That is in that cutout sheet also that I just showed you. And this red bow is made out of the crepe ribbon. So you have a couple of options for red and zotted on top. Again, red jewel dazzles on the corners. On the inside of this card, because she had used that plaid, here's the first time that we're going to use the insert. And here is the sheet. And again, it's going to be in quarters. So you can really see that that's where the snowflakes are cut off, and that's where that little pennant is cut off, or those lights are cut off. So right down the middle on both sides. This is the one that she used. And she did mat it onto that plaid that she used on the front. And you can see it's very light. It's kind of ghosted back. That's exactly what the design is meant to do. And then she added the red jewel dazzles right here. You can see them over the lights and in the corners again. Plenty of room to write your message or a greeting. Okay, that's our second one. Now our third is this. And look at that. Now this is a 5-inch square card. And what she has used, now this is for the foil die cuts, but let's look at the papers first. So she's got this dark blue. Remember, it has stars on one side, snowflakes on the other. This one has the light snowflakes, and this is single-sided. So you're going to take your piece and cut the blue a little bit smaller than your card, and going to take this even smaller. Then I didn't notice that there are borders on here. So see that star border? She put that across both of them. And that kind of brings out the red. And the red is what is in this Santa on a dinosaur. I don't know why Santa's on a dinosaur, but just work with me, okay? You can have a warsome Christmas. Very cute. So what she did is she popped out the center and attach the outside frame just flat onto the card, going over that border and the blue papers, and then foam taped the Santa right there. Be charming for a child, don't you think? And she has used the green ribbon set to pop her ribbon up there. And again, the red jewel dazzles. You can see these are the largest ones and the smallest ones. There's also a middle size. On the inside of her card, she went back to her 2 papers, and you can see how they are. And this is the other border that's on this sheet. This says ho, ho, ho all the way across. And so she placed it right again. Now, this is another of the inserts, and it wasn't on the sheet that I showed you, but it's on another one. Obviously, this is made to match that piece, which is always nice when they coordinate. And it says, let's have some festive fun, a green ribbon there. And as I said, this piece is foam taped on top, more of the red jewel dazzles, of course. So there we go. You can see how fast these can be to make. Now let's go to this one. And this is a Slimline card, as you can tell. And Heidi's done a couple of things with this. So to begin with, we carry Slimline cards in 2 sizes. This is from hot off the press. You're going to get 10 cards and 10 envelopes. They're scored. The cards are scored, ready for you. There's also Hunkydory ones. The Hunkydory are wider. And so that's just what's going on. And if you'll notice right now, there's a lot of corners going on here, rounded corners, even on the card. In fact, I didn't notice that earlier, and even on the papers. And that is done with the 3-in-1 corner rounder. I'm going to turn it this way just so you can see. There's 4mm, 7mm, and 10mm. What does that mean? Well, it means this. That's the round for 4, for 7, and for 10. Obviously, 10 is the largest. Now, Heidi has used the 4 in doing this project, so it's up to you, but that's a handy tool to have. So she took her card and did a piece of the the gold brushed diamond paper, which we had in the very first project, and covered her card, okay? I know it's hard to ignore that, but just for the moment, if you will. So she covered the whole card with that. Then she turned it like this, measured in, I believe it's 4 inches, and then cut it right there. And then she placed this top part, at that point it's the top and the bottom, okay, and scored it in the adorable scoreboard, this very handy tool, and did that halfway. So then this is going to become part of an easel card, okay? So going back now, so she has, so she's got the gold brush down, and she has trimmed the corners of the card, okay? I didn't put that in the instructions, but I'll get that fixed. Now, this is what she is using for the cover, the front of her card. So here is, this is the yellow stars, and that is going to go on top of the gold brushed. So you can see there's a piece here, the directions will tell you the size, and there's a piece here. And again, they are all corner rounded. Then she has foam taped on the left side right here, and these little guys you can see are just foam taped, red jewel dazzles. This is going to become the easel part. So when you take this guy and you're going to mat it on this paper, round the corners, and attach the bottom of this to the bottom of the flap. Okay, you want to leave the top part open. Again, red jewel dazzles. And when this lifts up, it's going to expose the inside. So let's look at that. Again, the same gold brushed there, a piece of the stars. And then there are others on here. So you kind of want to divide this in half. So on this half, we've got Santa and the reindeer, and we have the center Santa right there. So he's tipped, and he's tipped a little bit, foam taped, double foam taped. Then on the right-hand side, where the easel is, we've got 2 more, and she has chosen Wishing You a Magical Season and Ho, 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 Merry Christmas. There's 2 layers of foam tape, one on top of the other. That way, here's our card closed, and here is our card half opened. So it looks good there. It also looks good right there. Lots of Santas being very fun. I do want to point out that you can use the red jewel dazzles to make one of the reindeer into Rudolph with the shiny red nose. Yes, no extra charge for that, by the way. Okay, so those are 4 ideas. This is just a massive pack. As I said, 240 individual pieces, 42 papers inside. There are the inserts, there are the double-sided papers, there are the die cuts, the foil die cuts, multiple copies of everything. So this will give you some very fun things to make at the, probably as we're getting close to Christmas, you need things that are going to be fast to make, so this will work beautifully for you. Okay, if you are watching us on YouTube, we would love it if you would leave a comment and subscribe to YouTube, but please head on over to paperwishes.com, and we have the instructions down below, and that will just work very nicely. There is a money saver. We have the Santa Claus coming to town, and I just thought it would be really good to add the red jewel dazzles because they are used on absolutely everything. So those are the 2 pieces in the money saver, and you're going to save a little bit of money too, which is nice at this season, of course. I'd love to thank Heidi for her creativity and for doing some really fun things with these very fun Santas. I want to thank you especially for being part of our Paper Wishes family. Okay, we're going to see you again. Bye-bye.